Students, your time has come. I have decided that it's time to share some of my knowledge with you. That's right. Do you want to become a true legendary professional wrestling character? Do you want to learn how to project your voice, to enunciate, to come up with the greatest promos that you possibly could? Then you need to join me each and every week for just $50. I am hosting a masterclass on Zoom. That's right. You don't have to travel. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. I will teach you how to become the greatest character you can be. I will help you discover who you truly are. I will help you with taglines, promos, etc., etc. Join me for just $50 a week in a masterclass of wrestling character development. There's a reason they call us the masters of wrestling. Students, welcome back to yet another live stream of Masterclass right here on the Masters of Wrestling. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like and share this with your friends and family. We want a big party today because I've got a very special guest here, and we are going to be dropping some major news, some bombshells. This was totally unexpected, ladies and gentlemen, but it's going to be a good one, trust me. So load up your super chats. Get ready to ask questions. I am the Master Amir, along today with Martin Stone, a.k.a. Danny Burch from NXT. Danny, Martin, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you very much for having me on, mate. It's much appreciated.
It's absolutely it's a pleasure to have you here. Viewers, do not fret, students. The Bodacious Suave is up in Canada. He's in Calgary right now with Jason Sensation. That's why he's not available today. I don't know who they're meeting, Martin. I think they're going to be having lunch with Bret the Hitman Hart or something like that. It's nice. It's nice that, I know. It's nice that my co-star goes and has lunch with Bret the Hitman Hart. Nonetheless.
Where's your
What's
invite?
that?
Come on.
Where is my invite? Exactly. That's what I want to bloody know, Bodacious Suave. But nonetheless, we've got some tremendous stuff to cover because, Martin, as you know, I'm not particularly a fan of WWE these days or NXT or any of that product. I've been very vocal about that. I'm not trying to get a job there. You have been there, my friend. You were there for a lengthy period of time. You've also been in TNA. You've also been in AEW. You've been around the world. You come from the homeland, the United Kingdom. But I tell you what, to set things up for our viewers, let's give a brief background. First of all, how did you get from the UK to the United States? Who trained you, and how did you get your foot in the door at NXT?
Okay, so like most people in our time period, I came up during the golden era of professional wrestling. So my earliest memories of pro wrestling are being 5 years old on my grandma's couch with my cousin, watching Wrestling Challenge and Wrestling Superstars on a Saturday on Sky TV.
Yeah.
And just obviously being mesmerized by the characters and, specifically the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, of course. Come on. He's
what kid is not going to love the Ultimate Warrior? It was him. I love the Big Boss Man randomly. I don't know why. I loved Demolition as well. I think that was more so for the music. Got a funny story about those two as well, which will pop you later on.
Okay.
And
I just want to clarify, Martin, before you continue, as you know, we do this here. We do a bit of banter. Maltz, this is one of our look at what he said here. I'm going to bring him up on the screen because he's one of our channel members. I'm going to embarrass him right now. Maltz, look at this. Look what he said. Look what he said. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see I did Vinnie Jones.
Well, you know what? So, funny thing, at least he didn't say, I can't believe you're interviewing Danny Dyer.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So,
at least.
that's where the whole name came from, because the name Danny Burch, I hated. We'll get into into how that whole process comes together. But yeah, and then they're just like, oh, you can be Danny Dyer. But I was just like, okay, brilliant. Yeah, so I will take Vinnie Jones, though, because actually, funnily enough, Beth Phoenix, during the actual tag title run, one of the lines she dropped, I literally thanked her immediately afterwards because it just killed me. She went, we got Danny Burch making Vinnie Jones look like a yoga instructor.
That's good.
So I was like, you know what, I'll take that. Yeah. So
yeah. So how did you get over here? Yeah.
So yeah, so I then, and then I was heavily involved in boxing. Coming from the East End of London, you either played football or you put on a pair of boxing gloves.
Yeah.
So Mum thought it was best that I put on a pair of boxing gloves because I've got 2 left feet. And then I was really involved in martial arts for years and years. Did a lot of Thai boxing, a lot of kickboxing. I actually had the chance to train with Bus Rutten and Pancrase.
Okay. Wow.
That was around. God, that was like early days. So it was like 2001, 2002. So that was just in between when he became UFC champion. So I may have the year wrong there, but he was here for a week. He was back in the UK for a week because one of his students lived there. Mm-hmm. And then I saw, I ended up watching Raw because me and a group of friends would get together on a Friday night. They would finish work.
That's right. That's right. It was on Friday night.
Friday night, yeah, right.
At 10.
No, it was on super late. It was on at like 1 a.m.
Oh, you saw later. That's weird. I remember watching Raw about 10 o'clock.
Was on 10 o'clock on the Saturday.
Okay. SmackDown. Okay.
And Raw was on. So we'd get to their house. We would play N64. So either No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, or WCW NWO Revenge, and we would literally play that right up until it. Then we'd watch it, and then and then that was the night. And then there was it was a match on Raw. It was Chris Benoit versus Eddie Guerrero, and that was when the Radicals split. Yeah. And watching that match, I'm literally sitting there, and in my head, I'm like, I thought wrestling was fake. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just the performance of both the guys, but specifically the intensity and the work rate of Chris. Yeah. That was the catalyst for me wanting to become a pro wrestler.
Damn, yeah. So, Chris, he was so sharp in the ring. Sharp in the ring.
I was exceptionally fortunate to be able to train with him. Yeah. Which again, this will tie into the story, but it's not often you get to meet your idols or your heroes. On the day, he didn't disappoint, but obviously with everything that came out later on, it was very crushing for me. Some of the advice he gave me, and one of the best things he did, I mean, he's literally standing there and he's like, why haven't you got a dark match tomorrow? And I'm like, I came here to train. He's like, well, why haven't you got a dark match? And I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I was blown away by that. Yeah. And then towards the end of the week and the camp and stuff, he looked at me and he went, just keep going. Yeah. He said, you're going to be awesome. And I'm like,
he was, again, that's so sad what happened to him, but that's what happens, when you have severe brain trauma.
Losing your closest friend, like 2-3 months before. I can't. I know that there's all the conspiracies coming out now. Like, oh well, it wasn't him. And I'm like, no one knows.
No, Martin, I want to jump in because we got super chat, our first super chat of the night. Awesome. And again, I want to say, viewers, again, students, if you want to chime in, if you want to be part of this, hit a super chat and we'll answer your question live on the air. Also, consider joining. Hit that join button. It's just $4.99 a month. That will give you one free question on air every single live stream and a shout out every single time. So this one comes to us from, here we go, One Boss. It looks like ITV. Must be a British person.
Yes, it is. Excellent.
New to the channel and love it. Great job, Amir. Question from Martin. How legit was TNA British Boot Camp? I felt you should have went a lot further. So this must be a Brit.
That's awesome. So, essentially I was lied to.
Oh. Really?
The way it was presented was so that was just after my first stint with FCW at the time.
Okay.
And so I went back home and I was in between thinking, okay, do I try and come back? Do I, I was trying to reassess my career path because, I just got let go the first time under different circumstances because they really didn't do anything with me the first time at all. Yeah. And then the opportunity to do that came up. And the way it was presented was, okay, you're going to cut this specific promo. Mm-hmm. You're going to have this specific match. You'll go through and then we'll bring you to the States and then we'll do whatever from there. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then on the day, the promo got switched and I had to cut one on the fly, which I absolutely crushed. So if anyone can go back and find it, I was supposed to cut a promo about being here and what it means and stuff like that. And then they were like, cut a promo on Joe.
Okay.
So I knew I'm like, oh, okay, this is good. This is going to be great. And then, so I ended up cutting the promo on Joe, and it was awesome. It was, it was really, really good. And they were like, okay, we think we're going to put you through. And I was just like, this is going to be a fucking, excuse me, sorry. This is going to be an absolute, nightmare.
Yeah.
And then, I was told that I was going to the States, and then conveniently I was eliminated the first round.
That's insane. I got a correction, by the way. iBoss One TV, not ITV. He's from Scotland, actually. So our neighbors up there in the Great White North. So welcome, One Boss. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you here more often. We got Matt Martin. You're going to be joining us here and there quite often on the channel.
I would love to. This would be an absolute pleasure to. Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic. So, again, I know we jumped a little bit around there. So, coming back, so when you got – because this is the thing. We talked about this the other night. I remember back in the day, all I found in England was Hammerlock Wrestling.
Yeah, right.
That was it. Right?
That was the only school that I found. So, so after that match, I was just like, I need to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like, okay, how do I do this? And then I'm like, wow, this is a really big wide world, and I have no idea how to do it. It wasn't like boxing where there's boxing gyms or martial arts schools, or it was just, it's not as though you could walk along and find a wrestling school.
Yeah.
So I started doing some research, and then names started coming up like Gary Steele, Andre Baker, Johnny Moss, and I'm like, okay, so all roads are leading to Hammerlock, which, if I'm not mistaken, at the time it was in Kent.
Okay. Yes, it was. It was Kent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Kent.
Are you telling me, Mark? Are you telling me that perhaps you and I crossed paths all those moons ago? Because I was there. I went there. They had mats on the floor.
I never went there.
went
there.
Okay.
So I was looking at it. And I'm like, okay, so it's from London. It was probably about an hour's jump on the train. So I was
at
okay,
least
it's not too bad. So I was like, okay, well, it's not too bad. I can't remember what time the classes start, but then in my head, I'm like, shit, if it runs late, I'm going to miss the last train. And, then chance would have it. I go to Tesco's.
Okay.
Good old Tesco's.
That's a grocery store in England, by the way, students, just so you know, Tesco.
It's at Tesco's. And chance would have it, there was a convenience store next door to it. And there was a load of posters in the window.
Yeah.
And it was advertising a wrestling school in Purfleet in Essex.
Okay.
Called Dropkicks Wrestling Academy.
And who was running that at the time?
That was run by Tony Scarlo and Frank Reimer. Frank was a MC back in the day, and Tony was a former British lightweight champion during the World of Sport days. So he was, he had a lot of stuff on TV, and just he was a fantastic worker. There is actually footage of him on YouTube working a very, very young Dynamite kid.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah. Really, yeah. So he, so I was like, you know what? So I took, went inside. I was like, can I have that? And they're like, yeah, sure. So I took that, and then literally a week later, that was when I started, and it was a culture shock because you think of wrestling, you're like, oh yeah, there's going to be a ring, there's going to be this, there's going to be that. No, there were judo mats.
That's what Hammerlock was, dude.
Yeah.
That's why I remember I got there, man. I remember
people are spoiled now, I'll tell you.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was just talking to my buddy, my dear buddy. I want to give him a shout out if he's watching this. Richard Sawyer in the UK. He and I, we wanted to be a tag team. Everyone knows the story, watches the channel. We were at One Night Only. We wrote letters. We handed them to every referee that went back down because we wanted to talk to Davey. We wanted to talk to the Bulldog at the end of the night to figure out how in the heck are we going to become wrestlers. I do have my Uncle Paul and everything, as everybody knows, but even back then, him and my mom, they didn't talk very well. So, So I'm going to, by the way, I'm going to address that segue because I got another super chat came in. Thank you very much. Dominic Tago 1513. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for helping us here. Yes, he's my Uncle Paul, just so you know. Right there. Just want to answer that right there. Yeah. So, it was mats. It wasn't even a wrestling ring. It was actual mats. And I remember thinking, this is not wrestling.
I was like, of course, in my head, I'm like, well, I did some submission wrestling and stuff like that. So I was used to the mats, but then I'm like, well, you're supposed to learn to run the ropes and jump off the top rope. And I'm like, whatever. I was like, oh, okay, fine. And no, just kidding. But, and from taking the first bump, I fell in love and I've been hooked ever since. And that was, I started training in 2002, and then I made my official debut in 2003.
Yeah, that was a great time to get into the business, man. Right
Yeah.
there, fantastic time.
And again, it's like I got thrown in the deep end. I had my first match after a month.
Okay,
and
well, that's the way to learn, man.
And legit, he's like, no, you're really good for me. And it was like the worst match that 10 suplexes within like 30 seconds because I was nervous as it was awful. Like, just it was awful. And then I said to myself after that match, like, and the promoter was Brian Dixon.
Okay.
And it was like, well, if you want to carry on training, then obviously come back in a few months. So I took that as, well, that match was the drizzling shits. Do not call me again. That was literally what I took from that conversation. So I said to myself, right, okay, I'm not ever going to step back on a show unless I am 100% ready. And then I literally spent a year. It might have even been a little bit longer than that, actually. It was towards the latter part of 2003 when I made my debut. Because then in that time period was when I was then coming to Georgia. And I was training with Mr. Regal and Dave Taylor. And then that was where... Yeah. So I was so embarrassed by myself from that because I was like, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. And I've ruined it. So I wanted to make sure anytime that happened again, I was ready.
Absolutely.
So,
did you ever cross paths? Because obviously some of the other alumni that came out of that time would have been Nick Aldis from the UK. Did you cross paths with him in training out there?
Yeah, okay. Nick, I think Nick came to Dropkick. I think he came to Dropkick for about a month.
Okay.
But then, like, the school itself, it started to get very, like, once Tony kind of left because he fell out with Frank, it was very much, let's just get as many people in as we can and just, so I can take, like, just so I can, like, cover the rent on the, on the building and stuff. So it got very segregated between guys that had experience and then, like, guys that were, like, fresh out of the womb.
Yeah.
So then a group of us, guys who are still some of my closest friends today, we ended up getting our own ring and we set it up in a railway arch. Okay. So we had somewhere to train. And then at that point, we then just found any single show we could, and we were just getting booked every single weekend.
All right, so let's talk about this because obviously we got a British contingent here, and this is refreshing to hear. I was gone from the UK at that time. I was already in the States.
What year did you leave?
Like officially, like 07, 08. Oh, okay. But I had dropped out of wrestling for a while because once 2005 hit, WCW was gone. I wasn't really paying attention to it anymore. I was on doing another venture. So was there a lot of opportunity in England between the early 2000s, late 90s? Were there a lot of indie shows?
The British scene like died in the late 90s. So once World of Sport got pulled, which was, I think I'm correct in saying this, it was like the early 90s. Okay. The shows themselves, like, it was few and far between to be able to work a wrestling show. Yeah. And then there was people would get like the odd job and stuff like that. But then there was a company in England called FWA, Frontier Wrestling Alliance. Okay. And they ran, I want to say it was the Crystal Palace Arena. They ran that and it kind of like gave a big boom again. Okay. And then smaller shows started to pick back up. Then FWA ran another show where they had Eddie Guerrero versus Doug Williams. And then that kind of set and then from there, lots of places started running and wrestling became popular again. Yeah, yeah. I didn't get my breakout match until it was around 2004, 2005. Okay. And I had the opportunity to wrestle Samoa Joe. And this was when he was on his undefeated streak in the X Division with TNA. Okay. And he agreed to it. And they turned around and said, okay, it's going to be a time limit draw. Okay. Which was huge at the time because Joe was destroying everyone. Yeah. And, the match was really physical. And that's what put me on the map. And then pretty much from that moment on, it was boom, 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 boom. I was, I was very, very fortunate. Yeah, very blessed. We got somebody in the chat, Martin, who just came in, Jake Lineker. Any relation to Gary Lineker? But anyway, is that Danny effing Burch? ? Yes, somebody is happy. Yes, it is. Somebody happy to see you right here. Probably a big fan from the NXT days.
So okay, so you're off to this boom with Samoa Joe,
Yeah.
TNA. So was there any? Obviously, you did work for TNA for a period of time, correct?
No, it was I worked the one. So I did the British Boot Camp show, which was 2013. I was never under contract for them or anything like that.
Okay.
And then when I moved back here, I did one shot of their TNA gut check, and that was it.
Okay. All right. So how did
I wasn't fault because at the time, I mean, TNA, like, early TNA days, TNA was awesome. It was so good.
Yeah. Oh,
and just, you look at the product now compared to what it was, like, no.
Well, it's basically, you know what it is? I'm going to get a little bit of my character in here. You know what it is, Martin? It's pretty much almost WWE 205 live. That's exactly what it is, in my opinion.
Don't insult 205 live, because I was
good. Touche. Okay, touche. Touche.
No. 205 was way better.
205 was better, but I'm just saying. All right, let's. Okay. Well, I was going to say Velocity, but even that was better in Sunday Night Heat. So even Shotgun Saturday Night was better. So I don't know.
I like to affectionately refer to TNA as NXT 3.0, and I don't like to say that because I do have some friends that work there.
Yeah,
and they always work hard, but I feel that the company lets the talent down.
Yeah, big time.
I just with the booking, and I went along to watch a show because I had friends there and stuff, and they ran a venue which I know for a fact holds between 500 and 600 people because I used to be there every month, which was Full Sail Arena, which is when NXT was on the network, that was where we would film every month.
Oh yeah, yep.
And there was maybe 120 people there.
Wow, that's it.
So when some of their refs that don't get paid and work for free turn around and say TNA is the number 2 company, shut up. No, it's not.
It's not the number 2 company, not at all. It's like I'll tell you what, Martin. I got the opportunity to work there last year. So again, I'm just doing some scouting for my Uncle Paul. So I'm out there. I meet Trick Williams. He happened to be invading that night. There was a segment. I was involved with that.
He's the reason my career ended.
Who, Trick? Okay, so we'll get on to him. Okay. Yep. But yeah, I happened to be there. But I honestly can say it was not a big feel vibe at all. It felt like just a glorified indie show. That's what I felt. It did not, to me, there was a lack of professionalism. There was definitely the snootiness, which I didn't see in another company I worked for last year. Yep. So, but yeah, I think they're too big for their britches. They have the WWE kind of basically sponsoring them right now, for lack of a better term. And that's the only reason they're in the narrative, in my opinion. But anyway, just wanted to get that out.
I hate bashing. I'm not bashing places, but I hate saying negative stuff about places because I just want wrestling to succeed.
Yeah.
I just want wrestling to be amazing again, like it was when I came in.
Yeah.
And not this like watered down. Here, read that, or okay, we've got paint by numbers. You're going to lock up, then you're going to do this, then you're going to do that. Make sure you turn to the camera exactly 45 to get like just. I can't. It's awful to watch.
No, but I'm with you.
Wrestling to be amazing.
I'm with you, and that's why we're doing this, Martin. Because again, it's like Sim Bodie, our dear friend Sim Bodie says, if not enough of good people, if they don't speak out, nothing changes. Yep. Nothing will ever change. If you go along, it's like I tell our students here, our viewers, if you just go along and keep watching it and don't say anything and keep turning on TV, they will do the exact same thing over and over again. They will not change. You've got to force change.
Yep.
So that's.
Yeah, exactly that. You have to force change, because if not, we don't have to change. We are happily going to charge you 20 grand a ticket, and you are going to like it.
Exactly, whatever you put out.
Yep.
So, but coming back, so let's go back now. So, how did you get? Someone just wrote here again. Our Jake Lineker said, "Huge fan of yours, Martin, in NXT."
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
He said you made people believe in what you were doing, the old school way. Exactly. So how did all this come about then? Obviously, you were trained by William Regal and Fit Finley.
Fit Finley and Dave Taylor. So that was the Blue Bloods Wrestling Academy, and that was in Peachtree City in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And I was very, very fortunate. So I went back and forth a few times because obviously at the time you only had 90 days. So it was obviously, we couldn't work or anything like that. So, I mean, Dave was great. He literally hooked us up with a hotel that was literally down the road, and we got it for like $50 a week.
Oh,
like,
wow.
he really, he went and he worked his magic. And on one of those occasions, Chris Benoit came down to train, and he was the whole reason I got into wrestling. So I'll never forget him walking in and just every single fibre of my being wanted to turn into like a 5-year-old kid and just run up and like, oh my God, and hug it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh God. And I was petrified. I've never, apart from Finley, I've never been so intimidated by someone as a wrestler. There's not many people that can, I boxed. I wasn't very good, but I had a really good chin. So, so I can take a knock and stuff like that. But it's very rare that I get intimidated by someone, because the worst that's going to happen, they're either going to knock you out or you'll knock them out. There's not really much to it.
Yeah. But
just his whole presence, his aura, the way he carried himself, just, you literally had to take a crowbar to pry my butt cheeks apart. And, so he comes up to me and he's super intense, and he's like, he's talking, he's like, how long have you been working? I said, oh, this is my, my third year, second year. He's like, who is your inspiration? And then in that moment, I'm like, I can't say anyone I can't lie, because obviously it'll be obvious. And I just went, well, you are, sir. I had the opportunity to watch you versus Eddie Guerrero when the Radicals split on Raw, and that was the whole reason that I became a wrestler. And he's like, okay, come over here. Then we start locking up. We must have spent an hour locking up. And he's like, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And then we all got in the ring, and then it was very humbling, because some of the guys that I was training with, for whatever reason, he really didn't like.
Okay.
And but I don't know why. This guy had long hair, and he's picking him up while he's standing on his hair and just ripping him up, and like clumps of hair are coming out. Damn. And then the guy tags me in, and I'm like, oh, well, wish I hadn't said that now. Bumping around for me, selling for me. So I was exceptionally fortunate. Yeah. And then the biggest thing he said to me, he said, do not quit. He said, this job, this industry is going to test you. Do not quit. And that was, some of the best advice I ever got given. And through all the horrific story that came out in the end, I am able to separate the performer from the person, because luckily I didn't know the person like so many of the guys did. It still crushes me to this day. It will come around about that time of year, and I still remember when the news came out. I remember exactly where I was. And, I had people texting me that, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, what do you mean? And then everyone's telling me, and, so it still gets to me. I'll be like, it's June, shit. Yeah. Sorry. And then, so I consider myself very lucky to have been able to have, it may have only been a few days, but to have been in the ring with him, and to, been able to have picked his brain and asked, well, why are you doing that? And why, stuff like that was, it was fantastic. It was
and I'm glad you said that, because obviously I've covered the Chris Benoit story here with Rico. We've discovered that as well. And again, separating, the character from the man, and also separating the downfall from the man. And I think that's important too, because, nobody ends up where they beginning life. And I'm going into a little speech now for anybody out there. Nobody ends up. And you could take a wrong turn, but if you keep taking wrong turns, eventually you're going to get lost in a maze, and you're not going to be able to make the right turn anymore. So it's important to gut check yourself every single day, or have someone who's accountable for you to keep you on the straight and narrow. And I think that's why I always think it's so sad when people demonize people entirely. I say, well, hold on. If you can reflect back at the person's life prior to the ultimate downfall, what were they like? Again, we don't know, but again, what were they like? And I think it's a hard thing as humans to understand that, because we want to just say, oh no, that person was a scumbag. They were vile. They were evil. But at one time they were not. So, again, keep vigilant. If you've got a friend, if you've got somebody in need or in trouble, they look slightly off, they sound kind of weird, ask them questions. What's going on? Don't just turn a blind eye to people. Anyway,
I'd like to piggyback off of that. I can get into the story deeper later on, but for you to say, if you've got friends who are down or sound off or anything like that, please check on them. If it wasn't for my wife, in 2022, Christmas of 2022, I wouldn't be here anymore.
Wow.
I finally picked up the phone after 52 times. So if you're concerned about anyone, please reach out and make an effort.
Exactly. Amen. God bless that. Yep. So, all right, coming back to the story then, Martin. Okay. Yep. So obviously Chris helped you, you're training there in Georgia. So how did NXT come about? How did you get this opportunity there?
So from that point, I came back obviously full of beans and just like, wow, my hero, damn, he spent that amount of time with me. So it was all stuff that I took to heart, and I was like, okay, well, I've been questioning, am I good enough for this? And that was kind of the catalyst to say, right, let's do it. And then I just busted my backside, got booked as much as I could, worked a whole array of different sizes, people, styles. I had the chance to start traveling to Germany for WXW, and places like that. And then, as fate would have it, on one particular show, one of the talent scouts for the UK, Drew McDonald, was on the show, and he said, do you want to come down to the O2 Arena? Raw and SmackDown are in town. Do you want to come down? And I said, yeah, I'd love to. So I submitted all my paperwork and stuff like that. And this was, this was 2009.
Okay.
I did the first one. Sorry, this one was in Sheffield, not the O2 Arena. My apologies. And getting signed back in the day from England was very, very different to how it is now. I mean, it's very different for everybody anyway. I didn't have the pleasure to go and do blow-up drills for 3 days straight, to the point of puking up to see if I can stop. I actually had the pleasure of getting in a ring with the guys that were trying out as well, in front of the entire roster that would come down and just stand by the ring.
Okay.
Just years and years and years of knowledge and experience, all standing around by the ring, just staring at you. And then you would have a ref, you'd have one of the agents, and they'd be like, all right, you got 5 minutes.
Yep.
You got 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes. And this is why I stress to all new guys, please learn how to work. Do not put your matches together move for move from A to Z, because you're not going to have a chance to do it. If you've got to call a match on the fly, you are not going to be able to do it, and you are going to crack the bed. Sorry, getting on my high horse there. Anyway, so, I was in the ring and stuff like that, and I came out, and Arn Anderson waved me over. And he goes, you're pretty good. And I was like, oh, thank you so much, sir. And he's like, yeah, I can see you being able to kick the crap out of most people. Whatever that it factor is, can you come back in April next year?
Okay.
Bear in mind, this was November. And I was like, of course, trying to pick my jaw up off the floor, And again, Arn is another guy that I absolutely loved watching. So of course, like the little fanboy inside of me is trying to jump up and down and throw fireworks around. So
Martin, let me jump in if I could there. I apologize. Please. So when you were invited to the Sheffield Arena to WWE, were you invited to the extra talent, or was this specifically for? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I want to touch on that, Martin, if we could briefly, because you and I talked about that. Okay. So you were brought in as an extra talent, and in one night as an extra, you got somebody to pull you aside and said, "I want you to come back for the next show." Right? That's how it happened. Okay. Because you and I talked about this the other day about, I know some people who constantly are doing extra work, constantly on a wing and a prayer, thinking that they're going to get a deal, and they've been doing it for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Now, I'm not to say that they may not get a job, but in all honesty, Martin, what would you say to somebody who's been going to every single extra show for 4 or 5 years and they still don't have a look at?
See, there's two sides to it.
Okay.
If they are using you in matches, if they're using you in dark matches, then fine.
Yeah.
You know, because at least you can go up to someone or anyone and say, "Hey, did you get a chance to watch my match tonight? Is there anything I need to work on? Is there anything I need to do?"
Right.
If you've been going for 3-4 years and you're personally just a doctor trying to assess someone in the back or anything like that, I get it. We all, at one point in time, it was the only place to go.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that was where I could go. But there comes a point where you've got to kind of look at the writing on the wall and go, okay, well, they're not going to do it. They're not interested in me because they're not calling me up saying, we want to offer you a WWE ID deal or a developmental deal or whatever like that. So if you're really headstrong, and again, just because NXT didn't work out for me, I will never dissuade anyone from trying to shoot for the stars.
Right.
Okay. If you think it's the be all and the end all, you are going to find out very quickly it's not.
Right.
But just because I wouldn't dissuade anyone. But if you're that dead set on going there, how about you branch out and try somewhere else and try other places, make a big enough noise so that then they come knocking and you can go on your terms, not theirs.
Right. Exactly. I got some people here that are trying to ask some questions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to ask a question, make sure you use the super chats. That's what they're there for. That's how we bring you up on the screen. And then Martin and I will direct our answer to you personally. So make sure you use those super chats. But as I said before, if you become a channel member for just the price of a cup of coffee a month, $4.99, all you got to do is hit join. You'll get a free question asked, debated on the screen every single live stream. And that's exactly why I'm going to bring up Maltz right now, because he is a channel member. So he says, Martin, who are the top 5 British wrestlers of all time in your opinion?
Are we talking collectively or are we talking
top 5? I'd say in all time. I just want to guess.
Fit Finlay, Mark Rocco, Pete Roberts. Did I say Regal? No,
you haven't said Regal yet.
Steve Regal, and I'd have to say for the modern era, just because I enjoyed wrestling him a lot. I would say Doug Williams.
Doug Williams, okay, interesting, yeah. Because I mean, off the top of my head, I would have put in Davey Boy in there, but again, everyone.
I mean, there's Dynamite. There's top 5 is pretty tough.
Yeah.
I will have to say.
We got, again, some more questions coming in. If you want us to discuss your question live and answer it, make sure you use a super chat. That's what they're there for on YouTube, and then we will discuss it. Or become a channel member, join for just $4.99 a month, and then we'll answer your question. But yeah, coming back to your story then. So NXT. Yep. So now you're called back by Arn Anderson. Come back the following year.
Arn Anderson. Okay. So Raw was on the Monday and SmackDown was on the Tuesday. It was at the O2 Arena, and I remember walking in that arena, and it was the first time I've been there, and I said to myself, I was just like, I need to perform here. Yeah. It was one of the, it just, I don't know what it is about that building. I was like, I need to perform here. Anyway, so on the Monday, everyone's around the ring, same thing. There was a lot of us this time. There was like 20 of us. There was a lot of people there, which usually there was only, you get at max 10.
Okay, 10 people.
So me being a complete a-hole, I'm sizing everyone up, and I'm like, well, I know I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I can outwork you, I can rip you apart. That was my mentality going into this, because I was like, if I've been invited back, then I cannot leave anything to chance.
No.
And I said to myself, if I don't leave anything to chance, and the answer's no, at least I got my answer.
Exactly.
And now I can do whatever, and, So anyway, we're doing matches on the Monday and stuff like that. And then randomly I got up to Jamie Noble, because he was the agent in the ring watching it. And I said, excuse me, sir. I said, is there anything you're seeing that I need to work on or anything like that? And he goes, no, we'll either sign you or we won't.
Yep, blood.
So I'm like, because I was like, maybe there's something that's not standing out that they're looking for, or, it's just something. It was like, no, we'll leave Sonya, we won't.
Martin, sorry to jump in,
No,
but
please.
I want to keep it moving because, like, it's funny you say that because I've often thought that myself. Again, it's sad because everybody will want to work in the business. We all love the business, right? We want to be able to support ourselves and make a living from it. But at the end of the day, it's like you said, if you keep beating your head against the wall, and it's not, for me, it's like, okay, it's not necessarily, you fumbled that move. Sorry, we can't hire you. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No,
they want
it really
you.
Isn't.
They want you or they don't.
Yeah.
That's it.
If you are what they are, if someone, because it changes like the wind, what they're looking for. Right now, it's male athletes. Maybe 3-4 months ago, it was an influx of female athletes.
Right.
And they were, and they were all, they were like black, white, Chinese, like just from everywhere because they're looking for, it changes like the wind. So
it's like a cast. It's like a movie. It's like a TV show. It's a cast.
It's exactly how it is. It's just you can never pin it down and go, right, they're looking for this. So if I work on that for 6 months, brilliant. Next day it's changed. Oh, we need someone who's like 3 foot tall and has one leg. Like it's luck of the draw. It really is.
We got another super chat come in. This is one of our dear friends right here at the podcast here. Another super chat. Thank you so much, Red Fox. He's got no question. He just wanted to say that he saw you in Shikara a long time ago and have been a fan since. You never disappoint, Martin. Thanks you, Red Fox.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fox. That's wow. That was 2008 in the ECW arena.
Wow.
And funnily enough, that were one of my closest friends, Terry Fraser, who I believe is either going to tune in or try and watch this right now. We've been friends for years. I've broken with him, and he's one of my, he's one of the, love him to death. He lives in your neck of the woods, actually.
Oh, he does?
Yep, he is a model now. Yeah. So
really, Terry Fraser. I thought you said terrorizing there, but he's not Uncle Paul. But yeah, I'll have to check him out. You'll have to connect me.
Paul's name like that. Come on.
No, absolutely not. I'll have to bring him on. We'll have to get him on with you as well. Do a bit of a reunion.
I mean, he's completely done with the business. He's like, I can't watch it. He tries to every now and then. He'll be like, so who's that? What they wear? Like, just he's brilliant. Like, just I absolutely love him to death. But and again, he was one of the guys that was, during my real dark time, he would check in and stuff like that. So, anyway, so then fast forward. So this is the Monday. We all get in the ring. I get told we'll either sign you or we won't. And I was like, okay. And then Mr. Regal comes up to me and he says, what did Jamie say to you? So I told him, and he says, wait here. Regal's often spoken about. He's only ever put his stamp on 3 people.
Okay.
One of them was Bryan Danielson. I can't remember who the other one was. But anyway, the other one on that particular day, he went in the office and said, okay, tomorrow there's a guy here. You all need to come watch him. Mm-hmm. And he literally put his word on me, which to this day I will never forget, because he didn't have to do that. Right. Because I could have completely crapped the bed and made him look stupid. But he didn't. And he came out of the office and he said, right, everyone who is everyone is going to be there tomorrow. Mm-hmm. The rest is up to you. So, of course, I went home and didn't sleep a wink that night,
Right, of course,
right. And again, I turned up the next day and he was completely right. Literally, it was a who's who was there. The entire roster was there. And I got ragdolled. Well, not ragdolled, but I started off. They were 5-minute matches, so they were pretty short. So I was in, I was out. 2 other guys went in. They came out. There was a lot of matches that got cut short quick because people were bad. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up basically being in that ring for 45 minutes.
Wow. Total for a match or just all over the night?
Just in these matches, it was, okay, you're in. And they'd be like, can you go again? I'm like, yeah, sure. They then just started bringing different people in for me.
Yeah.
Then they would give me a break. 2 more would come in. If they shit the bed, they're like, you back in. and they're
Got
bringing up. So just it was, so I knew what was happening, and I was like, I've left it all in this ring. There's nothing more I can do. And I come out of the ring, and one of the refs goes, "You're going to be all right?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know."
Mm-hmm.
And then Finley comes up to me, and he's like, "Yeah, great." Pats me on the shoulder, and then everyone walks off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then, later on towards the end of the night, it was great. They called me in the office. They were like, "Hey, we want to offer you a deal. We want you to start with FCW," which was in Tampa. I had the worst luck in the world, because then when I went for the medical, I actually failed the medical, because without realizing I had a torn ACL.
Oh.
So the contract got ripped up, and then they were like, "Hey, call us back." So I ended up, cutting a long story short, got my knee fixed, went back, expected to have to do the whole thing again, and literally they went, "Oh no, you're signed, you're good."
Wow. There you go.
So
Relief.
I was exceptionally lucky, So it was the most heart-wrenching experience in the world to go through that, and everyone loving it, and then, "Oh no, sorry, we can't sign you." I was like, "What do you mean it's torn?" I had no idea. That's
damn.
Yeah,
but you know what? As you're telling this story, Martin, again, you were privy to talking to Finley and some of these older legends. I wonder did they ever share with you how it was to get in the business when they got in? Because I'm surely it wasn't the same as these drills and stuff, right? There's no way.
No.
Okay.
So obviously, Fit is third generation, I believe.
Yeah.
So obviously he, was on the mats from, I believe in his documentary, I'm pretty sure it said he was like 4 years old when he started wrestling.
Damn.
And just, from what it seemed to be back in the day, is it was no one's privy to being able to get into the business. You were invited.
Right. Yeah.
And you were invited in, you were trained, you were stretched, you had the crap knocked out of you. I've heard some legendary stories about like Fit, making people scream for their life because they turned up and, that's all that wrestling, it's fake, isn't it? And then just him wiping the floor of them for like an hour straight, to the point they can't walk properly and stuff like that. So it was a highly protected business. Yeah.
Which you and I talked about these days. It's really
not thank Unreal for that.
Yeah, Unreal, so exactly. Yeah, which is unreal that they actually still publish that crap. But nonetheless, so now you're in NXT. You had a tremendous run there.
Not so fast. Not so fast.
Okay.
2 runs there.
2 runs there.
I had 2 runs there. The first one was horrible. Due to I retore my ACL within 4 weeks. So then I had to go through the whole process again of getting it fixed. This was down to the head coach at the time being I'll just completely come out and say it, he was an absolutely abusive right of power. He had power, so he made everyone's life a misery.
Are you at liberty to say the name or not?
Bill DeMott. Yeah, I'll say it.
Bill DeMott. Okay, yeah. Hugh Morris.
Yeah,
okay.
Hugh Morris. I don't know why, but he was. He got his the letter that came out that he's since defended and said it's it was all fake and this and that. I remember seeing a lot of that while I was rehabbing my knee. That when he forced me to do a training drill, I said, "I don't think this is a good idea." Mm. And there we are, blowing my knee out again. You're okay. Yeah, it definitely wasn't.
That's crazy, man. You think they want to protect you.
It got to a point where they ended up being like 9-hour days, and he would just run you. He would just brutalize you. And there was just no need for it. There was no need for it. Like, just, okay, you have to be in here at 8 in the morning. You got to lift for, you'd have to do like the lifting thing, which was roughly an hour and a half, whatever. Okay. Then it was right. You guys have got 20 minutes to be able to get into your ring gear.
Okay.
Or like your training gear, then start practice. Mm-hmm. So you've just come from the gym and you're expected to like max squat, max bench, max deadlift, and train like a American footballer. You're expected to train like that. You're expected to progress every week.
Which leads me to believe, honestly, to be honest, like, sorry to jump in again.
No, please.
Martin, but when you work someone like that, I would think most people would need a sports enhancing supplement to get through. Yeah, so they were basically, in a sense, because Vince, obviously, I like Vince McMahon's creative mind. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Personally,
he's a genius. Whatever way you look at it, he took wrestling from 500 people with like one little light bulb above the ring to like to what it is now. So there's
So there's no denying that. But I think personally, like you said, when you listen to the work schedule, I mean, even before your time, my gosh, 350 days on the road. There's no way you could do that without performance-enhancing drugs.
Look, just even if it's like, okay, your diet's perfect, your sleep schedule's perfect, you still couldn't do it.
No way. You wouldn't.
You'd you're taking bumps. Yeah. It's impossible. Yeah.
You wouldn't be 280 pounds. But anyway.
So like so when I got let go the first time, I had to do everything in my power not to jump up and down in the office and say, thank you very much. I haven't got to look at your face anymore. Because he killed wrestling for me. Absolutely killed wrestling. He would always put me in like the worst spots on the card. If it was the TVs, it was never like, okay, you're going to be like the carpenter guy that's going to help get guys done. It's like, no, you're going to be out there for 20 seconds, and he would just bury me like that. One of the best time in there, which was the biggest FU to him, was we're doing promo class, and Bradshaw was there, JBL was there. And so all the TV guys that they're all trying to push and everyone like that. And again, they're friends of mine, so I'm not going to name names, but like some of these promos were awful. Anyway, I was one of the few that was very privileged to be able to sit under the learning tree of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
And, being under his wing for promo classes was absolutely amazing. So anyway, Bradshaw's there, and he looks at me and he goes, "Burch, get up, cut a promo." So I was actually in stage school for 4 years, and I majored in drama in college and stuff like that. So
interesting. We have that in common as well.
Yes,
Mark.
we do. Yeah, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Yeah. So again, I was very, very lucky to be able to come up with something very, very quick. One of the classes I aced all the time was improv, so it was
perfect
promo. And again, I know who I am. I know what I was trying to project at the time. So getting into that mindset was, super easy. Yeah. Anyway, so I finished the promo. I go through a few other people, and Dream turns to Bradshaw and he goes, "So what do you think, baby?" Bradshaw goes, "Well, there's only one person in this room that I believe." He said, "And that's him sitting right there who's not on TV." Pointing at me. Was never allowed to cut a promo in front of the writers again.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I was and he did. He even went online and put it over. Someone sent me all like the clippings of like what he said on this particular podcast. So I obviously, but he put it, and this was like a few months after that class. So it's not as though it was fresh in his mind.
Right.
So whatever I did that day, he obviously resonated with it, which, so thank you, JBL, for putting me over that way.
Yeah, I met him a while back. Nice guy. By the way, we've got somebody in the channel here, and I don't know about this. Someone says here, I am Magnum TA. Is this Magnum TA watching us right now? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Magnum would. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I was going to say, if it is Magnum TA, hey, you know what? Drop me a
belly suplex.
Yeah, drop us a line here. We'd love to get you on the show, man. Someone loved your impression as well, by the way. And by the way, students, if you want to ask Martin a question and get it answered live right here on this podcast, you need to hit the super chats. We want you to be engaged. It helps the conversation move along more smoothly as well. You can also become a channel member for $4.99 a month. That will give you a free question every single episode. All you got to do is hit a join. $4.99 is the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and that'll get you a member here. But anyway, coming back to the story. So now this is the first run. So now you talk about the promos here.
Well, we can cut most of this out, but yeah, I go back home, and then I move back here. The day after Bill DeMott, I can't remember if he was fired or if he resigned. Though that I can't remember, so don't quote me on that. Right. Mr. Regal called me and said, "Hey, do you want to be an extra?" Because when it first happened, I said, "I will never walk in those doors again if he's there. I will never do it. I'll just, there's no point." So he calls me up and says, "Hey, do you want to be an extra for NXT?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." this was the start of something very, very good for me, because now I was brought in and I would be the guy that had everyone's debut matches. So now I'd be getting time. Yes, I would be doing the favor, but I actually had a chance to get in there and not, have a match, be it 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, so I ended up having matches with Sean Spears. I had Apollo Crews' first match. I had James Storm's first match. I had a match with Kevin Owens. So I started to work like a lot of really big names. And then I got in the best shape I could, because I got exceptionally frustrated, because I'm like, okay, so what have I got to do to come back then? You keep putting me on TV. I've been doing this, for a while now. What's going on? They're like, well, we just really trust you. And I'm like, again, as I said earlier, I saw the writing on the wall. For someone to say, we really trust you, unless I make that change, I'm going to be stuck in that role.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could think to do was get in the best shape I could. I did it completely wrong, completely tanked my metabolism, basically did everything you're not supposed to do. But I ended up really lean. And I came back, and Hunter's exact words, wow, damn, okay, that's awesome. I then opportunity knocked, and someone got pulled from the United Kingdom tournament when they started that up in Blackpool, which was 2017, January 2017. Someone, I don't know who, someone fudged the medical, and then they got caught for something or whatever it was, and they called me up and said, hey, can you be on a plane tomorrow to England to be in the UK tournament? And I was like, yes, sir, I can.
Wow.
And that was one of my breakout performances.
Yep.
And then literally kept doing it. And then eventually I got put on a part-time deal, which was basically a way of stopping me from signing elsewhere.
Yep.
And then that was when, we started the teasing the stuff of me teaming with my tag partner. And then 2018, that was when they officially offered me a contract.
Damn, that's amazing. One thing you did say there, and I want to give a cautionary tale to everybody, because, hey, we want to educate people here at the same time.
Please, yeah.
You talked about getting too lean and crashing your metabolism. The same thing happened to me way back. I tried to get super lean to the point where I had veins on my lower abs and stuff like that. And then I remember I stuck in it for a while. And I think actually probably the same happened to Uncle Paul. Do you remember when he all of a sudden, he was very lean and shredded in the early 2000s? And then all of a sudden, he just started to blow up. Like it was between 03 and 04. Remember that?
Yeah. Was that the time of when he was
with Evolution, rushed right after Evolution?
But was Uncle Paul trying to have a family then?
He was. I'm sure he came off of any sports enhancing, but still, it was. But what I'm saying, so what happened to you? I mean, if you're at liberty to say, what was it?
Oh, of course. And again, at that point in time, everything was drug tested, so I couldn't take anything, which I think is, I'm not saying we have to go out and look like pro bodybuilders, but I just think for the talents, joints, and their hormone levels, and just the lack of sleep that we get and stuff like that, I really don't think it's a big issue. Right. I completely understand why those safety measures are intact, from guys from the past that just abused everything too much, and it was the 80s, it was the Wild West, Well,
it was legal. It was legal back then, Martin. It was legal.
It was legal, but obviously the ramifications of I'll just do a little bit more so I can get a push and I can go up a size, and I'm going to hold 50 pounds on my frame when I should only be 170 max, so just it takes a toll on the body. So I completely understand why they put those tests in place. So I did it. I was really sensible at first, and then I just got impatient. So then it got to a point, I would run the deck of cards, so the Hindu squats and the Hindu push-ups. I would run that through twice.
Okay.
Then I would run 4 miles at a 6 minute mile clip. Then I would finish up with push-ups and burpees, and I would do that 6 days a week, all the while eating 1 meal a day. Just
1 meal a day. Yeah. Cause that's the thing is people don't understand, and anybody out there, you keep skipping breakfast and you keep doing, they talk about intermittent fasting all day long now, which I don't agree with. I think it's okay to shock your body here and there.
It's
but
okay
not
if you have a lot of body fat to drop. I
right,
think the only reason I lasted as long as I did on this was because I was a lot heavier when I started.
right, right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
I didn't start running into problems till the end of it. And I'm like, well, I haven't got no energy. But by that time, I was shredded.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
again,
then,
my meal was terrible. It was one chicken breast, 1 cup of egg whites. I would do a cup of oatmeal and half a
yeah,
cup of rice. That was it.
that was it for the whole day. But
Yeah,
like I said, if you stay on that for too long, then what happens, Martin, when you start eating normal again?
exactly what happened to me.
Yeah,
You know.
it's. I remember it happened to me, dude. I remember I did it for so long. I did it for about a year, very very light, just tuna, hardly any
Yep.
carbs. Then all of a sudden, I went back. Oh, I'm going to have a sandwich for lunch every day.
Yep.
Literally within a month, I
Yep.
honestly gained about 20 pounds.
Yep. It's incredible. And I mean, and so I did all that to basically get rehired. So I was just like, I got to get in the best shape I can. So I basically did all that to get rehired. But
Yeah,
as we go through my NXT journey, I actually did something even worse than that. So
damn, damn. Well, we'll. Pray tell, what the heck was this, Martin? Now.
okay, so obviously I get rehired, and then straight away, me and my tag partner, we start the program, which would basically define my entire run in NXT, which was with Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. Bobby Fish was on the shelf at this point in time because he'd just torn his ACL.
Mm-hmm.
So we get brought in, and obviously the way the writers presented it to us is, okay, UE are the heels. And I'm like, well, they're not. Listen to the reaction they're getting. They're booked like baby faces. No, they're heels. I'm like, okay, of course they are. You have them win every single time, and they win clean. That's not a heel to me, but I digress.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, they you go, okay, we're gonna have a feud with UE. You're gonna do the tour in you can do the tour in Download Festival. You're then gonna wrestle. You're then gonna do the tour in Brussels and France. You're then gonna hop back to the States, and there'll be 2 shows there, and then you'll go to Takeover, which was in Chicago. So I was like, damn, all right. I didn't expect that at all. I thought, okay, it's gonna be 6 to 7 months of us just working like the shows in Florida, the house shows. But for whatever reason, they threw us in on TV straight away. So I was like, okay, excellent. So we get to take over, and I'm the biggest critique of my work. I watch my matches back, but I'm the worst at it because I will just literally rip it apart and go, I should have done this, I should have done that, blah blah blah. I'm my own worst critique. This is the only match I won't watch back because of how special that night was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd made it,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought I could stand there with my head held high and go, I've done it.
Yeah.
We do the match, everything like that. The crowd hated us, and then towards the end of the match, I'm going to toot my own horn, but because of the way I was selling, I managed to turn that crowd around, and they got behind us, which was, it was that to me was pro wrestling. It really was pro wrestling 101. Okay, we got Rocky and Apollo. He's beating the ever loving crap out of him, but he just won't stay down, and the crowd felt that, and they came with it, which was absolutely amazing. So, of course, usually in that instance, you would get that reaction and have that type of match, and then usually the way I was watching the product, and the way it would happen, someone comes in and they make a big statement like that. It was usually 6 months to a year, and then they'd be up. They'd be called up. They might not be doing the same thing that they're doing. They might be, I don't know, they might be a teacher or a janitor or whatever like that on the main roster. But you're on the main roster, and now you're making money.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had that in my head. I come to the back, and the head coach of the Performance Center now, Matt Bloom, or then Matt Bloom, A-Train, or Giant Bernard, whatever you want to call him. Everyone's congratulating us and saying how great it was and everything like that. And he comes up to me and he says, "The War Raiders are the next babyface tag team, not you guys."
Yeah.
So in that instance, I knew we were booked as a throwaway, but because we could work, oh, it'd be a good match.
That's awful, man. That's very
So I
usury
was
right
like,
there.
excellent. But
Yeah.
it backfired. And I'm happy
Yeah.
to say that it backfired because our booking throughout the entire 4 years was, I mean, it was, we were the guys you could, and again, this wasn't a bad thing because I understood what my role was going to be, especially when I got into wrestling and when the era of wrestling I came up watching.
Yeah.
I knew, okay, I'm 5'10", I might scrape 6 foot in my boots. I am not 6'5" and 280 pounds shredded. So I knew that, okay, I'm never going to get looked at in that vein. But if you go back and watch, especially the from the 98s to like the 2001s, 2002s and stuff, your mid card was stacked.
Yeah, it was great.
And it was guys that had been wrestling for 20 years. They weren't the biggest, but some of them were the best.
Yeah.
Eddie, Dean, Chris, Perry Saturn, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, D'Lo. Just a who's who of guys, Bob Holly, like guys that had been around, had come through the old days in the territories, so they all knew how to work, and that propped up everything.
Yeah,
and
it did.
I said to myself, well, I know I can be good enough for that spot.
Yeah.
And all those guys, they've been there they spent 15 years of their career there.
Yeah.
So they made enough money to be able to look after their families. They made enough money to not have to go, oh, I've got to clock in now. Like, just, it's over. I've got to, and then go to the real world. So that was my goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I knew I'd be, and again, at that point in time with how we were getting used, I was like, okay, if they call us up and do this, I'm going to be really happy with this because I knew we would either be the dark match or the opening show or the opener, or it was like, okay, because literally all we did, it was very frustrating to watch. Any team that either got thrown together or brought in that were baby faces, we got them ready for their title runs.
Wow.
And it was it was a slap in the face. And I'll say it outright, it was. But something great happened in the fact that the fans did not care. They didn't care. They knew we were going to lose when we came out, but they did not care for whatever reason. They just got behind us. And that made us work harder. It made me want to go out there and perform. Like, yes, okay, this is all right. Well, we've got 6 minutes of entrances, so take two off the front, one off the back. Okay, cool. We're left with like 3. But we just went out and we just made the best of it. And the fans got behind us. And, so I was exceptionally lucky. And it culminated in, being told on 5 different occasions, you guys are going to be the tag champs. Oh, no, we're going to give it to someone else. Oh, no, we're going to give it to someone else. It was getting very, very frustrating.
So do you think, because I'm going back to Uncle Paul, when he saw you suddenly get into shape and he made that comment towards you, we've heard so much about Uncle Paul now saying, hey, he doesn't let guys who look good or they could be better than him get ahead of him and his fame and all that stuff. Now, backstage, did you feel that there was any sort of like favoritism or that you guys were deliberate? I mean, what did you see back? Because everyone loves to, again, I want to straighten this out, Martin. Everybody, like I said, there's a lot of guys who dream about being in WWE, and we discussed this.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I don't want to be is because it's not the WWE I grew up loving. It's not
1,000%.
it.
1,000%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you started to see, I mean, what did you see backstage? To give us a fly on the wall, how were Triple H and Shawn and these other guys? Was there politics involved at this time? Did you see that?
Yeah, 1,000%. Hunter was always very, very, he was always very good to me. He was always there for, if you had a question or if you needed to talk to him, he was always available. Shawn, I couldn't care for one bit, just for the fact that I tried. So my first day, I'm introducing myself to everyone. I come up to everyone, hey, Shawn, pats me on the shoulder, hey, kid, and just walks off, doesn't even shake my hand. I was like, okay. There was another interaction when it got up to that, and then I'm like, "Oh, hey, Shawn." He looks at me, "Hey, guy." He knew who I was by now. I'd had that takeover match and stuff like that. So at that point in time, I was like, "I'm not talking to you again. You are not worth my time." For what reason? I have no idea. Because you know what, I didn't even know him well enough to offend him. So whatever reason it was.
Yeah.
And then just that's why it made me sick on the night we made the tag title. And then he comes up to me and hugs me, Danny, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, of course you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, because the us winning the tag titles, as far as I know, was a Hunter call.
Okay. So that was one thing Uncle Paul
Yeah,
did do.
that's as far as I know. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but as far as I know, that was his call, which is obviously why Sean then liked me. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
so
again,
strange.
so all the coaches had different classes, and the two top coaches there were Sean, and you had his class of guys that just I don't know if you've when Sean did his gesture to the crowd of drinking through a straw, as we'll say, they pretty much all did that. It was just the biggest run around of, let's all say how wonderful Sean is, and it was like that. And in turn, that also got very frustrating, because then if you're trying to put matches together with them and they say an idea and you're like, oh, I don't know about that, oh, let me go talk to Sean. So it was really frustrating.
What's really strange, Martin, here is because I just saw our dear buddy Steve Richards put out a video about Sean, and it's a curiosity that I've had for a long time, because I'm a man of faith. I love my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and Yeshua, and but Sean came out with that whole thing in the early 2000s and said that he was born again, he loved the Lord, this and this and this and that. But we're hearing so many things now coming out that he's pretty much the same Sean now, minus the drugs and alcohol, but yet he's still doing the same stuff. So what you're saying is, even though he wasn't vile and bad, there was still a little bit of the old Sean that you saw.
1000%. I'll segue into this is it. So there was that interaction with him, and then while I was not undercut, I'd been let go the second time, and I was in a bad state. My future wasn't certain, because I'd had so many issues with my shoulder, and it was still up in limbo as to when I was going to get cleared. So I got fired, not being able to wrestle, not being able to work a real job, and not being able to earn income or anything. And just, I had no end date in sight. Okay, you're going to get cleared at this date. And I reached out to him and I said, I developed a real bad problem with alcohol. Real bad problem with alcohol. And I reached out because, as I thought, I don't know, I guess in my moment of need and want and help, I thought, well, Sean went through this, maybe, and I texted him and I explained the situation. He went, well, I don't deal with that. So here's a phone number, call him and tell him you work for the company, but you'll probably have to pay for it.
My gosh, man. That is unbelievable. That's Shawn Michaels. Yeah. And that's when? That's how much? That's 6 years ago? 5 years ago?
2022.
Oh, so not even that. 4 years ago, barely. So that's Shawn Michaels. Yeah.
So
see, that's that to me, that's an atrocity. Because Martin, we love to talk about helping people on the channel. It's not all about just talking about wrestling and critiquing it. It's also about the humanity aspect.
Yeah.
And I've never understood that. You've got guys who are working for $1 billion company. You're breaking their bodies. You're using them, essentially, is what you're doing. You're using them for your own revenue, right? To line your own pockets. And you go ahead and say that, because we did that thing on China the other day. And again, there's another one who was just kicked to the curb unceremoniously. And look where she ended up. There's so many, people that are.
I was headed down that path myself, and so.
Well, praise God, Martin, that you're still with us, because you now have other platforms, and you're a wealth of wisdom, and you've got a story and a half, cautionary tale, inspirational tale, all kinds of things going on. So that was 2020. Sorry, so that's when the contract.
We won the tag titles in, I think it was 2020. Or it might have been. I think it was October 2019.
Okay.
And funnily enough, I was in Terry Taylor's class, and me and Terry Taylor butted heads at first, but he's literally the only person I talk to at the PC. That's the only person I keep in touch with, because he became a mentor to me, and he really helped me.
Okay.
And again, I was broken to be a professional. You know, you don't argue anything. Just, okay, this is what you're doing today. Okay, what do you need, sir? Okay, great. You know, you do your job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, because obviously I've been hearing that, oh, you win in the tag titles, you win the tag titles. I'm like, oh, and of course, then it's like someone else does, then someone else does, then someone else does. You know, it just seemed like, well, don't tell us. Like, I don't care if we're not going to win them. Just don't keep telling me we're going to win them.
Yeah.
You know, don't do the whole like, oh, it's coming. Like, is it? Yeah, all right, mate.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
it's like the damn job promotion. Oh, you're going to get promoted. Yeah, it's coming. Really? Yeah.
So Terry sends me the booking sheet for the next day, and it was me and Ridge Holland, who was going through a similar thing. You know, he got fired, and then, you know, while he was injured and just unable to make money and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
So he's going through a similar thing as well. Anyway, so I'm reading it down. I look at it, and it says 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so we're going to have 30 seconds in ring then?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I lost it. And this is the only time I've ever kicked off. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Terry then goes, I call him. I'm like, what the F is this? There's so many scumbags there that can do this. Half the people there can't lace my boots, and I'm the one that's got to do this. What's got to do? I feel really bad about it, because it's the only time I've ever had an outburst, and especially to Terry as well, because Terry's been nothing but great to me. And he goes, all I'm going to say is, shut the frick up, bigger picture. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And he hangs up on me, and I'm like, well, now I've just upset the one person that likes me, and I was like, oh. Yeah. Walking the next day, and then Road Dogg comes up to me and he goes, have you guys been told what you're doing? Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, I've got Ridge. And he goes, no, have you guys been told that you're at? And then they lay out the entire storyline of how we're going to win the tag titles, how we're going to be doing it with Pat McAfee. Oh, the guy, so how we're going to do all of that. And yeah, the original idea, we were supposed to win it as baby faces, and then we were going to turn after. And then someone thought it would be a good idea for us to turn heel before it. And I feel that's why. Mm-hmm. That even though it was a great run, no one truly wanted to boo us.
Right.
Because they wanted their guys to win. I've still got like text messages now from, you know, like DMs and stuff of like people that have been there with me like since day one. They're just like, I cannot believe you won them. This is amazing. So it's like, they should have just given the crowd that one pop, like, yeah, our guy's done it. And then we swerved them. But, you know, they didn't for whatever reason. But
yeah. Well, sometimes they think they know better, and that's just the name of the game. Students, if you got a question, use a super chat. Write us in. Engage with us in the conversation here. We will answer the question live on the channel right now during the stream. We're going to go for about another 45 minutes or so. So you've got plenty of time, because we got plenty more we're going to discuss here. But if you want to ask a question about maybe perhaps some of Martin's experience.
You've cut off. Sound's gone. Hello? I can't hear you. Can't hear you at all. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Okay. Yeah, so then with that, where was I? I'm trying to think. Yeah, so getting on to the actual tag run itself. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. We ended up having, we ended up, it was great because it was a chance now. We weren't really doing much in terms of actual matches. We were actually just getting the chance to, cut promos and talk and everything like that, which was really awesome. We got the chance to get in there with Finn Balor, which, was absolutely fantastic. And then, unfortunately, as chance would have it, and a match against Finn Balor and at the time Karrion Kross, who I have nothing but praise and nothing but love and nothing but admiration for Karrion Kross. He was a guy that was really good to me, and just the nicest man you'll ever meet, especially when he was getting his push to the moon. In that match, taking a simple bump, I slip and I end up separating my shoulder, which, like now, of all the times now, I separate my shoulder. I was praying it was just a sprain, but I go to see the doctor, do the MRI, and then unfortunately, just there it is. It's like, well, you got surgery. You're going to be out 6 months. So they stripped us of the tag titles, and I thought that was, especially because we were a group at that time. Like, it ended up being at that point in time, it was like me, Pete Dunne, and Oni, and I really thought they could have done like the free bird tag rule. So that but for whatever reason they didn't. Anyway, so I get rehabbed, come back, and then then began NXT 2.0, but I didn't get the chance to be a part of that because I ended up working a PC live match, which is where obviously this is during the after part of COVID. So just everything had started to open up and stuff like that. So there we are. And I'm in this PC live. So this is where the guys were expected to learn in a warehouse in front of nobody. So there's no crowd, just the producers, and you're just wrestling. And he gives me an arm wringer. I guess he didn't drill enough in class, but he gives me an arm wringer and holds on and fires me into the mat, and I break my collarbone on the side that I just had surgery on. So I'm like, oh, great. So I go in there. They're like, it's just a broken collarbone. You'll be back in 8 weeks. Yeah. So I'm like, wow, this is not good. I'm like, this is really not good. Anyway, so I get it. I got the plate put in. He unfortunately looked at the original procedure and he's like, okay, I'm probably going to have to do that again because it's been compromised. So we'll just wait. We'll come back and then we'll look at that and make sure that the plate's good. So I come back in a week, and then the poor nurse, I feel so bad for her. She's, she takes the sutures off and takes the bandage, like the gauze off, and it just exploded in her face. I had a exceptionally bad infection, so they had to rush me in that day to clean it out, because if not, it was about to be really bad. So in the span of a year, I'd gone under 3 times. So already that's exceptionally hazardous to your health. And in that time period, they then, by this time, this is where dear Uncle Paul had unfortunately fallen to a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
So Johnny Ace had taken back over. Johnny Ace was the original guy that signed me in 2010, to report for duty in FCW. But Johnny's new thing was no one can be over the age of 25. So I got told, you're too old for TV. So we're going to make you a coach.
How old were you?
Here I am. I'm in, at that time, I was 39.
That's not too old.
No, it's not. It's not too old. If I just started and I'd just taken my first bump, 100%. But at this point in time, I'm racking up. I've been in the business 22 years now. So I was at like 18, 19 years in, and I'd been around. So it's not as though I didn't know how to like lock up or take a bump or anything. So it was what it was. But at that point in time, I had no way. It's not as though I could be like, you know what, I'm going to ask for my release. I'll see you later. Because if I was healthy and fit, I 100% would have walked.
Yeah. No, that's
to be told
crazy.
that, it was a slap in the face. Yeah, so I would have walked 100%, but I couldn't. Then, unfortunately, I did the wrong thing, which is I stayed there for a paycheck, and that was probably not the best, and that wasn't the best of things to do, because that ended up biting me in the backside, and then maybe a month later they fired me anyway, and that was all due to the politics of when I first got hired. Maybe 2 weeks before I reported for duty, Hunter came in and basically fired John Laurinaitis, or made him resign as head of talent relations so that he could be a producer on the road. So you can look into that as maybe Hunter wanted to fire him but couldn't because obviously he was protected by Vince. Who knows? We can all, let those theories run out there. So then, he then fired the last of the guys that were signed by Hunter, which was me, Samoa Joe, William Regal, Hideki Suzuki, Ace Steel, and then there was a load of people in the personnel at Stanford that were let go that day as well. So
that's very sad.
Thank you for your services. By the way, you're not cleared yet. We don't know when you're going to get cleared. You can't wrestle, you can't work, you can't provide. So and I went down. I'm not proud of it. I'm really not proud of it. It's something I wish that I hadn't have done, but I went down a very, 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 very dark rabbit hole through alcohol and just lashing out online and just speaking, saying stuff while I have no recollection of what I've said. I know I offended a lot of people, and if there is anyone watching that was offended by what I said, I can only apologise wholeheartedly. And I hope if anyone is watching that I did affect that you accept that apology, because I am a completely different man now. That is all because of my wife. If my wife hadn't have been there for me in December of 2022, I would have hung myself. And I thank God that I didn't, because I wouldn't have the life I have now with her and my dog. Again, reach out. I didn't reach out. I was too prideful to reach out and ask for help because I thought I could do it myself, and I couldn't. So,
praise God, man. That's a really good. I'm happy that you're here with us.
Me too.
Can you hear me okay?
Me too. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yes, I do now. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay. Yeah. Because I got a little bit of an echo here, but I'm not sure why, but I'll figure it out eventually. But tremendous story. Yeah. Thankfully for God and for your wife, and that you're back on track now. But in terms of WWE, if the opportunity ever came up again, would you go back?
Nope, not one bit. Not for all the money in the world. And I know everyone says that. You've got a lot of people that simp for the company and I'll never go back there, and then they run back. When I got let go the first time, I remember saying to myself, okay, this chapter's not done. I will get back there. This time, that chapter's done. I'd like to burn the book, run it over 20 ways with a truck. Just for a company to, fire people while they're injured and they can't earn a living. Like, it's cruel. It's inhumane. But and again, it's, do I think it was calculated? Probably. Because if I'd have not been injured and I could have, competed after 90 days, I'm one of those people you don't really want to let go of because, I offer a lot. I might not be the top of your list to be, the star that carries the company, but I can certainly drag anyone and anything up to that level if needed.
Yeah.
And I feel that they let me go while I was injured, so I couldn't go anywhere else. I genuinely feel that.
No, there's a lot of bad politics in WWE.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we talked about, it's not the place people dreamed of. It's not the WWF that we grew up watching. And
it's sad. It's really sad, and it's just, the whole thing now is paint by numbers. The guys, they're not allowed. I'm not saying not allowed, but like it's very hard for them to like express creativity because the matches are like plotted out for them and stuff like that. It's just like that to me is not a wrestler. Like I didn't get him to do that. You know what I mean?
No, you should be able
to like it's sad, but no, 1,000. I will never go back.
Yeah, because you should be able to call it on the fly. Period. Yep. You shouldn't have to go through because again, if your match is not working and the fans are not into it, then what are you going to do? How are you going to change the script if all you're a script monkey? That's all you can do.
And again, I understand having the finish and having especially for TV. For obviously working TV to a house show is completely different. But like for TV, like they'll say, hey, we need the break spot. We need how long do you need for the go home? So there's certain things you have to work out. Of course, that's always been like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's always been that way, which is nothing wrong with. But when guys are like having to put matches together from A to Z on a house show in front of like 50 people, because, well, your character wouldn't do that on TV. So why you like it?
No.
I don't know. That's something that I wouldn't want to learn. And that's not, if I had to like start again and that was my introduction to wrestling, I would never have made it. It's like I would never would have got to the point I did.
Yeah. Is that your wife in the chat? Right there. Can you see the chats, Martin?
No, what's the name?
Latina Ref Lane.
Oh, Latina, yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being there for him. Greatly appreciated. But I recently was talking to the former owner of Ring of Honor, and he was telling me about an individual.
Carrie Silkin?
Yes. Carrie Silkin.
Yeah, I know Carrie.
And he was talking to me about Gabe Sapolsky. You familiar with this guy?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, to me, he seems like he blows himself up and he thinks he's worth more than he is.
It was really weird, like, because like when I first met Gabe, I was on the Indies, and he booked me for 2 shows in Evolve, and then I drove 40-hour round trip to New York for a match that was supposed to be 20 minutes, and it got cut to 6. Which I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity. Again, I'll just, I'll go, we'll go do it. So I did that. And then he gave me 2 dates for shows in Florida. I did the first night and he was really happy with it. And then I did the second night and he just literally ripped my backside apart because it was, well, that's not what I wanted. And I said, well, you never told me what you wanted, Gabe. Well, I didn't want that. I wanted this and this and this. And I was like, well, I'm not a mind reader, mate.
First of all, Martin, was Gabe ever an in-ring guy? Was he a worker?
No. As far as I know, he was. He came up in. He was Paul Heyman's right-hand man during the
in ECW.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know what that company looked like. Yeah.
Hey, there's some really good talent that came out of there. Let's not.
There was. I'm not denying that.
But yeah.
But
well, I mean,
the vibe.
I'm sure he's. It's been heavily noted and documented by talent the amount of money they're still owed to this day. So,
well, yeah, we heard that Paul Heyman basically destroyed Chris Candido and Tammy Sixer's life, let him in debt. Did you know that?
Wow, that I didn't know.
Yeah, they lost their home because of him, because they were footing the bills for travel for the talent. Yeah. Yeah. So that's who he is.
Yeah.
But Gabe Sapolsky, so he discovered a lot of talent in the early 2000s. So I found out, but I started to see a pattern with the type of guys he's bringing in.
Yep.
So he's very biased to the high flyers, the 200-pound guys, under 200. So like we talked about, you've got to have a variable cast. You got to have your main eventers. You got to have your mid card, right? So is he the best person to be scouting for WWE, in your opinion?
No. Oh, no way.
No.
So the person who was doing that job before, his job of like scouting for talent and finding talent, William Regal.
Oh, there you go. Night and day.
Don't need to say anything else. Yeah.
Night and day. See, I hear a lot about this Gabe Sapolsky guy. He's often running seminars to make money. Like you said.
I don't know if he can do that because obviously he's getting paid a contract as well. So
oh no, he's getting paid. Yeah, he's getting extra money.
But then I'll be interested to see. It'd be interesting to know what contract is on, because as talent, you can't earn money from third party. I was not allowed to earn money from anything third party. Interesting,
because he does charge for seminars. Of course, I would not.
It's completely fine. I mean, it's for all his faults. he does drop some really good knowledge. Like it's one of those. It's a call you. Hi, Gabe. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? But we're not going to go and break bread and share a drink together or anything like that. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But he booked Ring of Honor when it was at its peak, before it went to Sinclair. When it was at its peak, and that was down to him. Now, me being devil's advocate, if you can't create a company around Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, Claudio Castagnoli, Homicide, the Hit Squad, some of the guys from Noah, when Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan was at its peak. If you can't book a company around those guys, then I think anyone could, because with how good those guys are, and of course, Corporate Man Punk was part of that group as well. So, with the amount of that talent, you should have been able to run a successful company. So I don't, you can't give the booker all that credit.
No.
So
I just think with him, he's stuck in a time warp.
Yes.
He's still casting the same guys as he was 20 years ago.
It's the mid-2000s Northeast independent wrestling scene. And again, some of those guys are awesome. They really are. There's some guys that are very, like, a few of those guys I've spoken to, because I know they're part of the ID process. Some of them are really creative. Some of them do think outside the box. And that's great. But then he hires a ton of others that look exactly like that one. Why not take that one that's really good and find something else that doesn't look like that? It's, and here's the thing. It's like, so Gabe, when Gabe sold Evolve to WWE, that's why on the network they did that Evolve special. So just like the original Progress in England, ICW, when that went all on the network, WWE had bought those promotions. That's why the UK scene died when it was at its biggest boom period. And then they started to panic because they were like, oh, there's World of Sport, which was relaunching on ITV. NXT UK. It was a complete counter. It was just to stop. It was to stop talent going elsewhere. Yeah. Some people will swear blind it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't. For me, it was too much of a coincidence. So then he owned all of that, and then all of like the Evolve guys that Gabe was in favour of, that some of them are friends that are real good workers. They all got put on board, and they were fired within like 6-7 months because they're just like, well, no. So I scratched like half the guys he got signed are gone. So why are you having him?
But like you said, Martin, he's casting guys that are very good in the ring. He's not casting what he needs to, which is characters that bring in the draw. And that's where he's missing the boat.
Yeah.
Right.
But to that point, I think to find someone that is a draw, that is going to be a genuine main eventer, that's going to take years to find that. In terms of that person becoming a wrestler and traveling and working. Austin wasn't the same Austin when he became white hot.
Correct. But
it took him years to get to that. And do you think he's not going to last at the PC these days?
No, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. This guy is antiquated now. He needs to go because he's not looking beyond the athleticism. That's all he's looking at. And that's not going to cut it. It's not.
Not now. No.
Ratings are down. The last Monday Night Raw had this Stranger Things crossover. That was abysmal. They just don't have the talent.
So let me put this question to you. We were talking about this the other day. Mm-hmm. If you were a 5-6-year-old kid when you got into wrestling, when you were watching wrestling as a kid, who on that roster would you take one look at and go, I've got to be a wrestler.
Drew McIntyre, and that's it. One guy.
Two. If
Two
he's
guys?
if he's given the correct push, definitely Drew, especially when he used to come out with that sword. And I used to say this to him, like when he would do his pose on the corner, he looked like Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can you not want to get behind that?
He should be the champion. He should be at the top.
Yep. The other guy, if they do it right, Jacob Fatu.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I've wrestled Jacob, and he is the smoothest. He's absolutely phenomenal.
And he's a character.
And he's a character.
Right.
But do I think he's going to get held back because they want Solo? Who knows?
I honestly,
and that's the booking. Sad part. You can't break this. You know, when they used to say you got to reach for the brass ring and break the glass ceiling, it's like, well, you're not allowed to. So yeah. it's so frustrating. It really is. It's like, again, you know, I spoke to a lot of the older guys, and it was like, we were never given a guarantee. We were just told, I can give you an opportunity.
Right.
And for me, that's like, okay, put your foot down on the gas and go until you can't go anymore. And hopefully you can crack that, you can break through the glass ceiling. But now there's no opportunity to do that. It's, you get the finger point of destiny. It's you, plop. It's you, plop.
Right.
Regardless of talent, charisma, in-ring ability, regardless. Because if that machine is behind you, don't get me wrong. If that machine is behind you, you will get over, and you can see it in guys that have crossed over to different companies that are just not getting the reactions they were before.
Yeah, very nepotism is running rampant.
Yep.
And there needs to be a change of the guard before they sell to the Saudis. They have to change the guard if they want to turn it around.
But selling to Saudi Arabia, does that change? I mean, that changes everything.
There'll be a lot of money, for sure.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of money, but like, what does that mean for the women's division? Because
I don't know.
They can't. Yeah, does it?
Does it go away?
Part of me thinks that. Because you think, let's have fun and speculate. They sell to Saudi, and they have to release all the women. That's a PR nightmare right there.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's like so it's so does that mean they're going to buy it? Are they buying I'm assuming that's going to be all the back catalogue as well.
That's where the money is, the back catalogue. That's
so
it.
if it's with the back catalogue, and from some of the Saudi shows I've seen, they do like to bring in the guys from years back. So it's like, do they then run nostalgia shows and just use the back catalogue?
Or Martin, do we get to see a resurgence of characters and the type of wrestling we grew up watching with them at the helm? Think about it.
Yeah. Well, it is like, I think one of the first ones they did, they had Iron Sheik win the Rumble because he was like, I can't bump over the top rope. So I went, okay, you can win then.
Yeah.
It's wow.
I don't know.
Think about it. No, but it's all speculation, obviously. But just what?
This video is made for entertainment purposes only, but a lot of people have said that Monday Night Raw, the problem was it looked like world women's entertainment. Way too many women's matches, way too many women's segments, and people were shocked at what happened this past Monday.
I haven't watched it. I think the last thing I watched was SummerSlam. And that was because me and my wife got invited to a friend's house, and it was just, everyone can say we're only bitter because you're not there. And it's like, I saw a lot of sloppy work. I saw like people missing people by that much and just not caring. And, so I clicked it off instantly. But I remember seeing the clip. Didn't Hunter or Uncle Paul turn around and say, he was talking to one of the producers, and he was like, I wish the guys would do what the girls are doing because the girls are outworking the guys.
I think he did say that. With a slap in the face. Yeah.
But you can't fault the girls for that if they're outworking the guys.
You can't. But what I'm saying is, when you're the head of a company, you don't air that grievance in a public platform.
Exactly. Exactly. But hey, it's unreal, and it's all new, and everyone knows it's predetermined, but so let's just show everything. And how much of that is a work as well? You know what I mean? How much do they really want to get out? Are they just letting snippets go out so that it creates a show?
But it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
I refuse to watch it. When your talent is speaking up about it, saying they don't agree with it, for me, that's a problem.
Here's my problem. Say SummerSlam is about to come on, and you've got the pre-show, and they're telling you about these feuds, these storylines, and then the Unreal commercial comes on, which basically tells you all these storylines, all these feuds are made up.
Yeah.
But then they cut back to Michael Cole trying to act, because he's a poor actor, and trying to convey to you that this is a real feud. That's my problem.
Yeah. I didn't even think of it like that. Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. That's so true.
In the same show, Martin.
I don't know. It's but what? Just why? Like it's like they have they are the biggest company in the world, and they have one of the biggest streaming platforms to really be able to do something, amazing. Like, I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need a changing of the guard.
ChatGPT must be working for them, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need a changing of the guard. We need some new people in charge, some new creators, some new scouts. We need to change the policies, perhaps, of who they bring in, how they scrutinize people. That needs to change. It's antiquated, and it's biased. That's the problem. It's biased. Back in the day, like the early 2000s, you saw a lot of different characters coming in, different shapes, different sizes, different working abilities. Now they just want people who, straight out of college, athletic background, no charisma, doesn't matter. That's how bad it is.
But also, to that point, I've got no life experience.
Correct.
Like, at 21 years old, I was an absolute moron. Like, I had no life experience.
Yeah. What are you going to know?
And the problem is, you get thrust into that environment, getting paid pretty good. Because, I know there's been a lot of numbers that come out. And it's not as low as what some people have said. It definitely isn't. I know 30,000 a year has been thrown out. I never saw a contract that low.
Yeah,
I saw one of 45 at the lowest. But that was in at a later date. When I walked straight in on 60,000.
Not bad at all for that.
So
time.
I don't think, so you're then paying a 21-year-old kid that to live in Florida.
On TV.
So let's hope they don't go down that real bad path and then start causing problems at airports and hotels and. But it's true. Like what do they expect is going to happen?
Yeah, I said this the other day, and also Steve, if you want to ask a question, use the super chat. become a member of the channel, and it's just $4.99 a month, price of a cup of coffee, and then we'll answer your question live, just so you know. I've said publicly, I think that anybody under 30, 35, I wouldn't even look at him. Me personally, I wouldn't look at him. Too young, too immature.
But are we talking guys that are already wrestlers, or are we talking guys that have never taken a bump before?
I'm talking about guys who are already wrestlers.
Okay.
They're too immature.
Yeah.
Too immature.
Perfect. Yeah.
They have no life experience. Most of them. I'd say 90%. Too much playing video games. And just, like you said, they can't handle that pressure.
Yeah. Well, here's something for you. This will hang on a minute, sorry. This will blow your mind. So when I was a coach, I was privy to a bit of information.
Okay.
And it was the trajectory of how they want the talent to go. And this blew my mind. It was, okay, if they haven't got the basics down in 6 weeks, they're fired. Okay. If they get through that, they need to keep progressing for another 6 weeks. If they don't, they're gone.
Okay.
After that, if they keep progressing, okay, they're going to be safe for a while.
All right.
Basically, within a year, you have to be able to make it to NXT TV or be a viable prospect for that.
Okay.
With not being able to wrestle every weekend, with some of them never being wrestling fans, but more importantly, a booking team that if they don't like you are not going to put you on TV.
Yeah.
And that's why I will never go back to that company.
Yeah, sounds.
Because unless you are kissing butt, you ain't got a chance. Or unless you're like an actual superstar, you know.
So let's be very candid. We got about 10 minutes left. If you got a question, use the super chat. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that button. If you haven't joined, make sure you join. Be very candid. I know a lot of people who get sucked into the extra work for WWE. A lot of them. Over and over and over and over again. They're not signed. They've been doing it for quite a while. What would your advice be to them? From you personally.
From my advice to you right now, if you've been doing it a long time and you're either not getting a tryout or you're not getting, matches in ring or you're not getting like decent times on dark matches, go elsewhere because they're not interested.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean they're not interested at all. It just means not now. And you are better off trying to go elsewhere, getting a name for yourself so that then they have to call you. They have to call you to say, hey, we want you to, come and do this tryout. I'd say this all the time. Look at guys like Ricky Starks. Look at guys like Ethan Page. Whatever anyone thinks of them in ring or their ability or anything like that, they walked into NXT and became champions straight away based off of name value working elsewhere.
Yeah.
So we're in that time period now of when guys would jump from Monday Night Raw and you'd see them pop up on Nitro. You have the ability to try and do that. Okay. So like, do not put all your eggs in one basket. If I could turn the clock back and I had a crystal ball knowing that AEW was going to be a thing in January of 2019, I would not have signed that contract. I would have explored everything else first.
Yep.
Because even though stuff was going good, I was still frustrated because I was still asking the question, like, are you going to sign me or what? I still wasn't getting, just, not right yet, but come to TVs next month, and you can be an extra. So I was starting to get frustrated because I started to see the writing on the wall. And just if you want to do this as for your career, if you want to be able to earn a living from this, having options is a really good idea.
Yeah. Plus, you said options out of WWE allow you to maintain creative control over your persona,
Yep.
over your bookings, and your ability to earn money outside of
Yep.
your contract. Yeah. In WWE, you're locked up, right?
Unless it's changed, we couldn't do. Like I know, obviously, you can't do OnlyFans. You couldn't take any third-party booking. You could take a third-party booking if the company gave it to you, which obviously means they're going to take over half of what you're getting paid.
Right.
So, again, for instance, there was 2 times me and my tag partner, we got sent to Progress in London, and we got sent to do the tag league in Germany for independent promotions because they had asked, hey, can we use these guys?
But
so you can't go and get it, but they
right.
Yeah.
So if someone comes up to you and says, I want you to come and do a signing and open a store, I'll give you 15 grand cash. You can't take that.
It would have to go through the office.
Wow. And then they get probably a half of it.
It may have changed, but that's how my contract was.
That's what it sounds like. It probably still is. I mean, you see how they've taken over everybody's podcasts. Have you noticed that?
Have they? In what?
Yes.
Have they put it under their big umbrella?
Yes, they have. Cody Rhodes, The Undertaker, the guy I don't have much respect for, Logan Paul. All these guys, they're all under the WWE banner now. All of them. Yeah.
So then they obviously are doing it then, because obviously for those podcasts, those guys would have been getting paid.
They'd be getting paid a lot of money with the views they get.
So probably now they'll get a percentage of that.
Exactly.
Wow.
So the grass
not
is not
they're
greener.
not short of a few quid, is it? You know what I mean?
It always seems that way.
Ticket or whatever it is, they're not hard up for cash, are they? It's the monopoly. It's even though they say they're not, it's the monopoly.
Yeah. So who do you see as we come to a close? Who do you see on the horizon that has the potential to be viable competition? I mean, aggressive competition for WWE in the next 5 years.
It's just going to take someone with balls and a backer. Obviously, I've just seen in the news that like Vince Russo has come back to wrestling after all this time, and he's been pulled out of not retirement, but I think it was just I can't be dealing with this anymore. I think that's what his story was.
Yeah.
I mean, damn. There's the guy that wrote the Attitude Era. There's the guy that literally wrote Austin.
Yeah.
I mean, damn.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Get him on board somewhere, and yeah.
Well, I'm thinking the same thing, and I've been telling our viewers, keep an eye on JCW, right?
Oh,
Vince Russo.
JCW, that's it. Yeah.
Vince Russo has increased viewership with his storylines.
It's increased already.
Yep, it's increased already. Not that it was good, but he's increased it.
Good.
And I say, watch that space. He's a man who understands how to book TV. Period. Wrestling is TV.
I also think as well, part of the reason why booking's flat is because you've got wrestlers booking it.
Oh yeah, please. That's ridiculous.
Right, there's nothing. Okay, because that sounds like I'm trying to take everything. Like Uncle Paul was awesome in ring.
Yes.
Sean was phenomenal in ring. They made a lot of money. They put butts in seats, but they're going to write it from a wrestler's point of view and from what they like.
Yeah, you
can. And that's I know what I like to watch as wrestling.
Yeah.
And again, as I say to anytime I do training seminars or run a class, always say wrestling is subjective.
Yeah.
What I like might not be what you like. There's different flavors of ice cream, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you need an impartial person that hasn't, this one I go and play golf with on a Sunday afternoon. I really like him. So he's got to be my champion. You know, you've got a writer that's impartial, that's going to go, okay, well, he's charismatic. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it takes. I mean, it won't happen, you know, because that means relinquishing control. So that's never going to happen.
No.
But why, I don't know, because, again, does he need the spotlight? But you know what is sad, though? Realistically, if you think about it. Let's say it gets sold to Saudi, right?
Yeah.
Uncle Paul, if he's standing in the ring on the first Saudi show, he literally is the last of his generation.
He is. I've said it before, Martin. There are three stars of wrestling today, the biggest stars. Uncle Paul, Vince Russo, and still to this day, Vince McMahon. That's it. They are the three biggest stars that wrestling has right now. And they're not even in ring. That's it. They're the most talked about. They have the most amount.
Definitely the most talked about. Yeah.
Most amount of controversy, good or bad.
Yep.
And they contributed most out of everybody to the wrestling product right now. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that.
Oh, someone said. Oh, Malt said, "Don't forget about Michelle McCool."
Doesn't she? What was it? There was all that hoo-ha that went on with her podcast, didn't she replace Undertaker's other partner on the podcast, and then conveniently got put in the Hall of Fame, right?
Correct. And she said she deserves it because she said that she revolutionized women's wrestling. Can you believe that?
Hey,
I don't know.
Fake it till you make it, right?
That's a healthy ego.
Yeah, that's wow. Damn, she had some classics.
Yeah, she did. I can barely remember. I don't even remember seeing a match.
I can't remember anything. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you know the only thing I remember her doing?
What?
The thing with Layla when they were doing the Mean Girl thing with Cavall.
That's it. So you remember?
That's the only thing I can remember. I don't remember a match or anything, and that's only because I think Cavall is one of the best in-ring talents going, and I remember being so mad at that as a fan. Like this is when I was coming up training as well, and I'm like, why would you do that to like low key? I was livid. And that's the only reason I know it. That's the only reason I remember that.
Well, Martin, we're going to end the stream now, but you're going to come back. You're also going to join me over on the Cafe de Rene. We're going to do some extra stuff there. So, students, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit that button. Make sure you join for just the price of a cup of coffee, which is $4.99. You'll get a question on the live stream, every live stream. Next week, we have Devin Storm, Crowbar. We have Luke the Bushwhacker. And then we got plenty more coming up. So
I love it. I had one of my favorite tag matches. This was on the Indies. It was me and I can't remember the kid's name, but we wrestled Coco Beware and Bushwhacker Luke.
Wow, what an honor!
It was awesome. Yeah.
Luke is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He's a true gentleman. He's got a great mind. He's a great human being. So looking forward to having him on here. All right. All right, students. Well, thank you for joining us this episode. We will be back with plenty of new episodes this weekend. And, of course, live next Tuesday, next Thursday, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. All right. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on today. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. And thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. God bless. Okay, so, and that.